The symbol for Aquarius is two squiggly lines over top of each other. And what that always looked like to me was kind of coherent waves that are in phase. And the way that it's funny that there's a colloquialism talking about being on the same wavelength, you know? Yeah. So I think what it is about is the formation of probably a new culture, or a new kind of culture, a new approach to civilization. I think civilization will change radically over the next 2,000 years. It's almost as if the human body already contains the blueprint for the perfect society, and the human body, when you look at it, there really is no distinction between the collective and the individual. So you look at a cell, and the cell, what it wants to do just naturally fulfills the telos of the body, unless you have cancer, which is the only real exception. And, you know, something like cancer is what destroys civilizations. It's when the body loses its coherence. Bringing us back to Aquarius and the idea of coherent waves being on the same wavelength. It's like, I think there's some larger thing that is uniting these smaller processes. And if we were all to just participate in the life of this larger thing, it would interact in a way that would be mutually beneficial for everybody. And so, you know, that's the kind of the way I think that the perfect civilization, or the New Jerusalem, lays itself out in reality.
Yeah, so how does that connect with the Consummation / Solar Temple?
I've never actually talked about the Consummation publicly, but the Consummation, I guess, is the idea that you can perfectly unify spirit and matter. You can perfectly unify the Platonic form of, you know, the way the world should be and the world as it actually is. You can bring that down. And that would be the consummation, the perfect union of heaven and earth. I think what's going on when you pay attention, there are these moments where everything aligns. And what I think that is it's like a flash of that perfect union of heaven and earth. And it lasts for half a second and then it's gone. So the consummation, which is a kind of eschatological vision of the New Jerusalem, is the idea that that flash could be extended forever. It could be an infinite process that's always happening. Because I think that those are kind of the nuclei of teleological processes. That's where the past and the future are extruded from. It's when everything aligns all the time. Everything is perfectly aligned and in perfect union with the divine at all times.
Yeah, and it's also kind of something that the closest approximation of that, I guess, is constantly striving towards it, so it becomes kind of a dynamic process.
Right. You can definitely get closer to it. Modern thinking is very defined by horizontality, and so we can't have the world here and then something up here, because we can't conceive of this anymore. It has to be over here, or it has to be over here. So there can either be, this is the traditionalist idea, there's a golden age that we're constantly moving away from, or there's a golden age in the future that we're moving towards. But we can't conceive of, you know, a higher world, a kind of heavenly world that just occasionally manifests.
Yeah, and that's kind of this, you know, this idea of that this is in the, you know, the Gospels, that this is happening literally. It's like the Logos is made flesh.
Yeah.
Kind of, that there has to
and then people can relate to it. But until that happens, it's something that only very logical people can relate to. You know, more than one person is able to become something that is unified and that has a coherent identity that transcends all of the individuals. I think that's the significance of love. Love is what allows the world to exist in some sense. What tends to happen in any organization is that there are certain people who are in it for themselves, and this happens at every level of reality. So cancer is like that. Cancer is a part of your own body that is in it for itself. It doesn't want to participate in the life of the whole. And so it ends up destroying the whole. It ends up bringing the whole into death. And I think that's basically what Satan is at every level of reality. He's that thing that pulls the higher levels down and breaks unities apart. That's why in the cosmogram, at the top you have this shining void, which represents God, but at the bottom you don't have Satan, you just have a skull, you just have death. It's as if Satan is just the gravitational pull that brings us down towards disillusion.